Hello everyone, at 6:20 p.m. on June 27th, 2022 in Yinchuan District, Chifeng City, Inner Mongolia, Autonomous Region. Heavy rain poured down while people hurriedly walked on the road to return home after a long, tiring day of work. At that time, outside a small apartment in a mini condominium, a young girl stood by the apartment door and knocked for a while, but her younger sister didn't come to open the door. She used her mobile phone to call the landline inside the house, but no one answered. Since she forgot to bring the keys, she had no other way to get inside. She had to make a phone call to inform her mother, and upon hearing her eldest daughter's words, the mother named Liu Yuan also felt worried. At that moment, Liu Yuan was working at a supermarket, and it happened to be the rush hour when customers on their way home stopped by to do some shopping. The checkout counters were crowded with people waiting in line, so it would take a little while before she could ask for time off. When Liu Yuan arrived home and immediately opened the door, she was shocked by the scene before her causing her to panic. Her youngest daughter, Yaoding, was lying unconscious on the bed. The girl's head was covered in blood, with a large wound on her forehead that soaked the pillow with blood. There were bruises and marks on her wrists and legs, clearly indicating a pale bluish hue of the skin. Realizing that her daughter was dead, Liu Yuan became hysterical, crying and shaking Xiaoding. A few minutes later, she calmed down and quickly grabbed her phone to call her ex-husband Wang Bing. Although they had divorced in Liu Yuan's thoughts, Wang Bing was still the most reliable person. When Wang Bing arrived at the scene, he was also extremely distressed by the current situation, so he quickly called for an ambulance and the police. The doctors arrived promptly at the scene, as the house was quite close to the hospital, only about 2 kilometers away. After examining the condition of the victim, the doctors determined that Xiaoding had died about 2 hours earlier. At this point, the house had turned into a crime scene, and the police began investigating the details at the scene. However, there were very few mixed clues. The victim's name was Xiaoding, 13 years old, wearing a light yellow shirt and black pants. The girl lay face up on the small bed in the bedroom with her head slightly tilted towards the door. There were scratches and severe wounds on her face from being beaten with a blunt object. Her ankles and wrists showed signs of pooling blood under the skin from being tightly bound. Based on the bruises on the victim's limbs, the police believed that she had been bound with duct tape, as the marks were clear and sharp, unlike the imprints of ropes or wires. The forensic examination revealed that the cause of Xiaoding's death was severe head trauma, with multiple strong forces impacting her head, causing a partial fracture and indentation of the skull. The weapon that caused this trauma was determined to be a large, flat, hard object. The police reconstructed the scene, indicating that after Xiaoding returned home, she opened the door, changed her shoes, and entered the house. At that time, someone knocked on the door and Xiaoding went to answer it. Afterward, the assailant subdued and bound Xiaoding. The motive behind the attack was not clear, but the assailant repeatedly struck Xiaoding's head, resulting in her death. Finally, the murderer cut the bindings and placed the girl's body on the bed before leaving. During the investigation, the police made a new discovery. The victim's mother noticed that a mop was placed right at the entrance of the house in the hallway. Liu Yuan usually mopped the floor every 2 days, but on the day of the incident, she didn't mop the floor, and the mop was not in its usual position, as she usually kept it in the bathroom. The police believed that the suspect used the mop to clean up the blood after committing the crime, which made the crime scene different from other cases. The police and Liu Yuan searched the house but found no significant losses. However, they discovered a stainless steel frying pan on the kitchen shelf that was missing, with only a glass lid remaining. According to the forensic report, the victim was attacked with a large blunt instrument, leading the police to suspect that the assailant may have used that frying pan as a murder weapon. No tape rolls used by the assailant were found inside the house, nor was there any trace of the tape that he had used to bind the victim. It is likely that the perpetrator removed these pieces of evidence along with the murder weapon before leaving. The police are questioning whether this could be a burglary attempt that escalated into a homicide or a case of personal revenge. During the investigation, they discovered that the Liu Yuan family is not wealthy, with a monthly income of only a few thousand yuan. Both Liu Yuan and her eldest daughter Yu Xuan work as employees, with Liu Yuan employed at a supermarket and Yu Xuan serving at a restaurant in the area. This apartment complex has a stable population consisting mostly of local residents, and the security is relatively assured, with few unknown individuals coming and going. However, not many families in this area are financially well off, and most of them have average or low economic conditions. If a thief or robber had chosen such a community to commit a crime, it is unlikely. Furthermore, the entrance to Uyen's house was not damaged, and the windows remained intact without any signs of forced entry. This indicates that the perpetrator may have been let in by Zhao Ding. Moreover, there is no evidence of a clear search for property inside the house, suggesting that it is not a murder committed for the purpose of robbery. In addition, Zhao Ding's mother and sister stated that there were only 2 large tape rolls in the house which remained untouched. This means that the tape used to bind the victim was prepared by the perpetrator in advance. It is clear that he had a plan before coming here and was able to enter the house with Zhao Ding's permission. Perhaps the suspect is someone familiar to Zhao Ding, but what could be his motive for committing such a brutal murder against a child? Subsequently, the police went to Zhao Ding's school to gather more useful information. The teacher revealed that Zhao Ding was lively and cheerful at school, getting along well with her classmates. She was never isolated or involved in any violent incidents at school, and she had no conflicts with her classmates. Zhao Ding's academic performance was excellent, and she was beloved by many, including teachers and classmates. However, a neighbor across from Yuan's house remembered a detail and informed the police that about a month ago, one afternoon when Zhao Ding was returning from school, she ran straight into the house in fear without opening the door. She later told this neighbor that a strange man had been following her all the way home. The neighbor recalls that at around 5 p.m., Zhao Ding borrowed her phone to call her mother. Liu Yuan also confirmed this to the police, stating that her daughter was extremely frightened and recounted encountering a man with a stubble mustache wearing a black mask who was lurking behind her. One afternoon, Zhao Ding decided to take a shortcut to get home faster, but she still noticed the man following her at a distance of only 20 meters. The man wore a hat, a mask, and maintained a certain distance from Zhao Ding, making it difficult for her to clearly see his appearance. However, he stopped following Zhao Ding afterwards, so Liu Yuan did not pay much attention or investigate the man further. Later, the police collected surveillance videos of Zhao Ding on her way home from school that day, but did not find any suspicious individuals matching Zhao Ding's description. This could be because there were several sections on her way home without cameras, or the camera angles were obstructed, allowing the attacker to avoid being recorded. The police speculated that since Zhao Ding was young, the likelihood of her causing a major conflict leading to murder was low, and the motive could be related to the emotional conflicts of her mother or older sister. Zhao Ding's older sister Yu Xuan is 20 years old and has a boyfriend named Yang Qian who works with her at a restaurant. Their relationship had only begun a few months ago, but recently, due to incompatibility and excessive controlling jealousy from Qian, Xuan decided to break up and transfer to another restaurant to avoid meeting her ex-boyfriend. However, Qian continued to pursue her and even went to the apartment complex where Xuan lived to bring flowers, gifts, and even breakfast. Xuan had rejected him multiple times and asked her younger sister Zhao Ding to meet him and say that she was not at home. After several instances like this, it seemed that Qian had understood and stopped coming. However, the police still suspected that the emotional conflicts of the victim's older sister could have led to Qian's cruel actions towards Zhao Ding as a form of revenge. After arriving at the restaurant where Yu Xuan used to work, the police investigated this man, Yang Qian. The restaurant owner revealed that Qian had requested an early salary to return to his hometown in Sichuan and told the owner that he had bought a train ticket for the morning of June 27th, which was the same day Zhao Ding had the accident. Subsequently, the police checked and found the train ticket that Yang Qian had purchased for departure on the same afternoon. When checking the train station's surveillance camera, the police confirmed that he had passed through the ticket control gate and boarded the train. Therefore, at 4 p.m., he had already left for Sichuan and couldn't have committed the crime at Zhao Ding's house. Yang Qian was removed from the list of suspects. The police wanted to investigate further into the relationships of Zhao Ding's mother, but Liu Yuan, who had just lost her daughter, was in shock and unable to provide clear and valuable information to the police. However, Wang Bing, Liu Yuan's ex-husband, suspected that another person who was also Liu Yuan's ex-husband had killed the little girl. In fact, Wang Bing was Liu Yuan's third husband, as she had been married twice before meeting him. Her first husband was the biological father of Yu Xuan and Zhao Ding, but he passed away in a car accident. After her husband's death, Yuan married her second husband named Li Ping, who was a violent person and often physically abused her when he was angry. He had even beaten both of Yuan's children from a previous marriage when he was drunk. She endured this relationship for nearly a year before deciding to divorce him. Even after the divorce, he continued to harass Liu Yuan on many occasions. He appeared in the supermarket and deliberately lined up at Yuan's cashier counter, staring at her, causing her to feel worried and uncomfortable. One evening, Wang Bing went to Yuan's house to bring food for her and the two children, but saw his ex-wife sitting on the couch chatting intimately with another man. Although Wang Bing and Liu Yuan were divorced, he frequently came to shop and take care of the three of them. Wang Bing believed that he knew about Yuan's new relationship, and perhaps Li Peng also knew because he cared a lot about her. This made Li Peng angry and led to retaliatory actions. At this moment, Xiao Ding's older sister recalled a suspicious incident. Not long ago, Xiao Ding discovered a small camera hidden in a wardrobe at home and told Yu Xuan about it. When they found and deactivated the surveillance device, a few days later the camera mysteriously disappeared. The police believed that the person who installed the camera in the room was the murderer. The fact that he could easily enter and remove the camera from the house indicated that the suspect not only knew the habits and schedule of activities of Liu Yuan and her son, but also had a key to the apartment. Li Peng was also familiar with the habits of Liu Yuan and her family because he was an acquaintance. Therefore, it was possible that he had obtained a key and entered the house. If it was indeed Li Peng, he would have to appear near the residential area. However, the mini apartment complex gate didn't have a surveillance camera, so the police decided to investigate the surrounding area. During the investigation, the police received a report from an elderly woman who stated that around 5:45 to 6 p.m. she saw a tall man approximately 1.65 meters in height, slightly thin, wearing a black beanie and a face mask, hastily descending the stairs. This person was carrying a bag and wearing dark-colored clothing, but what caught her attention was that the bag he was carrying was pink. He moved as if he was running, which drew her attention to this strange behavior. Since the apartment complex didn't have surveillance cameras, the investigators had to search for surveillance cameras in the neighboring area. Finally, they found data from a camera at a street corner near the victim's apartment complex. Although the angle was a bit far, they still saw a man wearing a black beanie similar to the witness's description. However, the image was unclear because the camera was too far and the man was moving in the opposite direction. The police allowed Liu Yuan, Yu Xuan, and Wang Bing to watch the video in order to identify the man, but none of them could determine his identity. The image was too blurry due to the distance of the camera and the man moving in the opposite direction. It was possible that this person was Li Peng because he was also around 1.65 meters tall, matching the witness's description. To avoid causing disturbance, the police continued their investigation by probing some acquaintances of Li Peng about his schedule on June 27th, but no one knew what he did or where he went on that day. Therefore, the police decided to monitor the activities of this man by reviewing the video and tracking him. However, due to heavy rain in recent days, the license plate was obscured by mud splashes, making it difficult to identify. However, later on, the investigators discovered a notable detail from the surveillance video. The man seemed to be driving while throwing something into the roadside grass. Immediately, the police went to the location where he threw the object and found a pink paper bag. When they opened it, they found torn-up pieces of paper. After piecing them together, they discovered that they were some of Xiao Ding's school admission documents, including Liu Yuan's signature. With this information, the police became suspicious that the man no longer existed, and it was important to note that he had gained access to the victim's house. After continuing to monitor from various other cameras along the subsequent routes, the police finally obtained a photo capturing the license plate of the man's vehicle at a security checkpoint. However, when the identity of the vehicle owner was revealed, the police were surprised to find out that it was not the second husband Li Peng, but the suspect turned out to be the person who had been by Liu Yuan's side and actively supported the investigation from the beginning. He was Wang Bing, the third husband of Liu Yuan. At the same time, the crime scene investigation team made some significant discoveries while searching around the house where the murder occurred. They found a severely deformed metal pan in a pile of trash behind the building, indicating that a strong force had impacted it. Technicians tested the blood residue at the bottom of the pan and discovered that it belonged to Xiao Ding. Additionally, the suspect's DNA was found on the metal handle of the pan, matching the DNA of Wang Bing, Liu Yuan's third husband. With such clear evidence, Wang Bing could not deny his crime. However, everyone wondered why someone could be so cruel to a 13-year-old child. Wang Bing was the first person Liu Yuan contacted after the incident, indicating that Liu Yuan trusted Wang Bing greatly. Moreover, Wang Bing was very concerned about Liu Yuan and actively cooperated with the police investigation. So what caused Wang Bing to commit such a heinous act against Xiao Ding? The police revealed that Wang Bing and Liu Yuan had divorced at the end of March 2022, just about 3 months before the murder occurred. After the divorce, the two still maintained regular contact, but everything came to a halt by the end of May. What happened during this time? Could this be the actual reason Xiao Ding was killed? In fact, 3 years ago, Liu Yuan and her 2 daughters moved to this mini apartment. She and her eldest daughter worked at a supermarket and a restaurant in the area, while her younger daughter was still attending school. After the death of her first husband, she met and married her second husband, Li Peng, in search of a stable life for herself and her 2 daughters. However, the marriage lasted only a few months due to Li Peng's violent and abusive nature. During his drunken episodes, Li Peng would even physically assault the 3 of them. Eventually, Liu Yuan and Li Peng divorced to escape from this hellish marriage. Since then, Yuan isolated herself and vowed not to remarry, devoting all her time to caring for and raising her 2 daughters. However, after some time, Yuan coincidentally met Wang Bing on social media. Not long after, they arranged to meet, and Yuan was drawn to Wang Bing's cheerful and outgoing personality. However, Wang Bing's family did not approve of this relationship. They argued that Yuan was 1 year older than Wang Bing and he had already been married twice with 2 children of her own. Furthermore, Wang Bing came from a well-off background and his mother felt that Liu Yuan was entirely unworthy of her son. More importantly, Wang Bing's family believed that Yuan's intention in wanting to marry their son was not simply for love but to gain access to Wang Bing's wealth. They even demanded that Wang Bing have his assets notarized before marriage to prevent Yuan from claiming a share in case of divorce. After unsuccessful objections, Wang Bing's mother reluctantly accepted Yuan because she expressed a willingness to bear another child even though she already had 2 daughters. However, several months after their marriage, Yuan and Wang Bing still had no children, causing increasing worry for Wang Bing's mother about the lack of a male heir. The relationship between Yuan and Wang Bing's family deteriorated, and the couple grew more distant because of this issue. They believed that Yuan didn't genuinely want to have children, but only made promises to enter Wang Bing's family and then use some means to avoid pregnancy. From these suspicions, the relationship between the couple started to fracture. Wang Bing had initially desired to become a father, but now not only had to take care of Yuan's 2 daughters, but also became increasingly irritated with Xiaoding. The constant scolding from his stepfather made the young girl withdraw further into herself. This deeply saddened Yuan, who had hoped to find someone to rely on for herself and her children, but each marriage only brought more misery. The breaking point came during a meal when Xiaoding expressed her desire to raise a kitten and Wang Bing angrily shouted at the little girl. He said that if you want to take care of a cat, you have to leave your own food for the cat to eat. If not, he will kick the child's parents out of the house. Liu Yuan felt that she couldn't let her children live in such a family anymore, so she decided to get a divorce. Due to the conflicts between the two, Wang Bing also agreed with this decision. However, after the divorce, Wang Bing couldn't forget her and often brought daily necessities to help her parents and children. In May 2022, Wang's family introduced Wang Bing to another girl for marriage preparation. When Liu Yuan discovered this, she deleted Wang Bing's contact information on her own and blocked all calls and messages from him. She decided to have no further contact with her ex-husband, but Wang Bing secretly continued to monitor Yuan and their 2 daughters. Later, Wang Bing admitted that he was the man secretly following Xiaoding on her way home from school. Wang Bing recounted that one evening he saw Yuan meeting a stranger man and they had affection for each other, which made him extremely angry to witness Yuan's image with that man. After returning home, Wang Bing couldn't sleep and felt unbearable jealousy. The next day, when Yuan and their eldest daughter went to work and Xiaoding went to school, he returned to the house and installed a camera in the closet to monitor the activities of the Xiaoding and her parents. Watching the surveillance camera became a daily routine for Wang Bing, and he noticed that after the divorce, Yuan showed no signs of sadness, but quickly started a new romantic life with another man. It turned out that only Wang Bing was suffering and regretting this relationship. Therefore, he became extremely angry and began to plan revenge on Liu Yuan by attacking her. He wanted to render her unconscious and use ropes to interrogate her about everything. However, before finding a convenient opportunity, Xiaoding discovered the surveillance device and Wang Bing had to stop this dangerous activity. In the end, he silently returned to the house to retrieve the surveillance camera. He revealed that he had prepared some tape rolls and gloves in advance to carry out his revenge plan on Liu Yuan, and he was waiting for the right opportunity to act. That day it was raining heavily. There were very few people on the road and Wang Bing took advantage of this opportunity. He used the stolen key to sneak into his ex-wife's old house, took a frying pan from the kitchen, and then hid in the bedroom waiting for Liu Yuan to return to attack her. What he didn't expect was that Liu Yuan had changed her shift with a colleague, so she didn't come home early as usual, but worked until late. Xiaoding came home from school and was the first to return home. Wang Bing, angry that he couldn't continue to monitor Liu Yuan as Xiaoding had discovered the surveillance device, wanted to punish the little girl. When Xiaoding saw Wang Bing holding the frying pan with a fierce expression on his face, she became scared and quickly ran away. However, after only a few steps, the little girl was caught by Wang Bing and fell to the ground. He then took the pre-prepared tape roll and tightly bound her, but Xiaoding was frightened and continuously cried and begged Wang Bing to spare her. Worried that her loud crying would be heard by the neighbors, Wang Bing gagged her, but he was bitten on the hand by the little girl. Already in a fit of anger, Wang Bing repeatedly struck Xiao Ding's head with the frying pan, causing her to fall to the ground and bleed. He was horrified when he realized the consequences of his actions, because his intention was only to vent his anger by hitting Xiao Ding. After calming down, Wang Bing put on the gloves and went to clean up the room, but accidentally knocked over the shelf, causing the papers on it to fall. While wiping and getting wet, Wang Bing discovered the papers in the frying pan, so he hastily put them in a bag and left. On the way, he threw the frying pan and the bag into the roadside grass. The incident of the murder of a 13-year-old child led to Wang Bing being sentenced to death in December 2022. Although the case was quickly resolved, we have learned a heartbreaking lesson from this event. What's even more frightening is that the murderer pretended to be genuine, and even Xiao Ding's mother believed that he was trustworthy and could rely on him. This shows that Wang Bing was quite selfish in his relationship with Liu Yuan. He only loved Yuan and did not care about her children. Each person has the right to choose when entering a romantic relationship, and if they feel unable to accept it, they should let go without causing harm to anyone. How do you feel about today's case? Leave a comment so we can discuss. And if you liked it, don't hesitate to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support us. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.